Yes, welcome to the Watchers podcast. I'm LD, that's AD.
What up?
Remember, before we start, feel free to subscribe. Blah blah blah.
Blah
You
blah
know it.
blah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Buttons, yeah.
yeah. So, Adrian, relationships,
Relationships.
being with someone that you like, or wanting to be with someone that you like. What makes the person the one? Because the one to people is a lot of things, isn't it?
It
You,
could be
you
Neo.
yeah,
It could be a guy called Billy Gunn. Look it up, my wrestling fans.
yeah.
But yeah, we're talking about girls this time. Yeah.
You,
Or men, or like
yeah,
your
have this.
yes, continue.
Yeah, yeah. So basically sometimes what happens is you ask people what makes you like the girl that you're with, and they'll say stuff like she's caring. And sometimes you think to yourself, she's caring. That's brilliant. But maybe it might go deeper. So speaking for myself, what makes me what made me go for my wife? So looking at her, because sometimes you need to observe someone before you even attempt to be with them. And observations, I know things have changed these days. Observing, this is why you go on dates just to know, that kind of stuff. But sometimes it's also good to observe how, if you know the person in real life, it's good to observe how she relates with people. And that's a tell sign most of the time, I think, because I've been in a relationship where this girl, observing her from afar, and I ignored it. I could have probably taken signs from it, but I didn't. I could see that she was losing a lot of friends. She was not good with people, and it was always someone else's fault. Now, that starts off as the foundation. You're thinking, oh, yeah, why is it always someone else's fault? Then on the other hand, with my wife that I'm married to currently now, observing her, she always wants to work things out. When we went on holiday, went to Bali, and the way she was trying to look after everyone, because that was the final point for me to say, this girl is different. I knew she was different, but looking at the way she related to people, how she wanted to look after everyone, even though at one point she was not enjoying the holiday, all she was concerned about is how everyone else is doing. And there was about 10 of us on that trip. And that for me was deep. So when I use the word someone being caring, I'm not talking about, I'm just saying it for the sake of it. I'm talking about seeing it in action, how they relate with others or how they deal with difficult situations.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, it is true what you said. It like you said, you made an important point. It is about observing and seeing for yourself. But you know what? To further that point, it is about observing before being in anything romantic.
Yeah. Why are you saying that though?
Why am I saying that? Well, we're talking about what is the one in terms of relationships, right? And the reason I say that is sometimes what we think is the one is based on where we are emotionally and mentally. So if we're in a bad place, who we think is the one might not actually be the one. It's just that we think they're the one based on what we're lacking, right? And the reason I said it's best to observe outside of anything romantic is if you are lacking and you attract someone, sometimes there are people out there that mirror you and they observe you and they know what you're lacking, what you want, what you need. And they look at you and see how you are. So if you are a nice person and you're nice with people, yeah, and your wife in the past probably could attest to this. We all can attest to this, yeah. We deal with people in a certain way, like we're caring, yeah. If you have somebody with ulterior motives, yeah,
Yeah.
they're observing you. They're going, oh, this person is with people. So for me to fool them, let me be the same way. Let me pretend to be the same way.
Yeah.
So if you get romantic with someone and then they're like, oh, homeless guy, here's some lunch and stuff, and you're looking at them going, oh, this person is nice, that's like me, and they're
Yeah.
like, then you start to fall for it because you're already romantically embroiled. You start to fall for those. Not to say the person is not nice, but you got to watch out. You start to fall for those displays, and as time goes on,
Yeah.
yeah, you start to see cracks in the display.
Yeah.
You go, hold on, who's this person? But you're already embroiled, you know, and that's where you end up in, because a lot of people are there pretending.
100%. It's true because if we're being honest, Adrian, it's easy to be nice, isn't it? So just because you've seen when I say easy to be nice, I'm not saying easy to be nice that some people do struggle being a nice person.
Yeah,
I'm not, what I'm saying is that just because someone has displayed something
yeah,
does not mean that that's what defines them.
exactly.
And I like what you said about the stage that you are in your life can sometimes determine who you think the one is. Now, if you are in a very dark place and feeling down, depressed, and someone who might be a horrible person, like, you might not know them, but because from what you see on the outside, sometimes you think, oh, okay, he owns his own business. Let's say I'm speaking from a girl's perspective, yeah? Owns his own business, he works hard, responsible. And then have you considered, you might not know what he's like in real life. So if you're in a place where if I don't know how to explain it, but it's going to make sense soon. But what I'm trying to say is that, okay, look, to start from the basics, if you are in a very down place and you keep talking to someone and confiding in them, yeah, to the opposite sex, and they're like, oh yeah, keep going, and then you feel like, oh, this person has been nice to me, but because you are feeling so emotional and your mind is not sound at the moment, you don't consider other areas. You're considering just one thing. That's why sometimes I think it's good. In my personal experience, I've been in a relationship where it messed me up. Then immediately I jumped into another one. Now I jumped into another one because speaking to the new person gave me comfort. It made me feel loved. But I did not think of who the person really is like. I did not even allow myself to say, let me take my time with this. Because I've just jumped out of one relationship to the next. So it's almost as if anyone, not like anyone, but I could easily fall for anyone from my perspective.
Yeah,
And that's what happens when you're not really sound in mind at the moment. You might feel a bit,
yeah,
you know, might
yeah,
be in a bad place. Yeah.
yeah. Um, to add to that, like I said before, the one to you is the equivalent to how much you are lacking inside.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you made a point, and we all have done this. If you have a void, right, and you don't really feel much love for yourself, and you feel down and depressed and
Mm.
stuff, and somebody comes and makes you feel good, yeah, that is filling a that's the equivalent of if you are dehydrated and somebody brings water to you, yeah, you're just gonna take the bottle and just drink, and
100.
your brain's gonna be like, this is a lifesaver right here. I must, and I'm gonna use an analogy in certain poor parts of the world. Yeah, people always ask, why do people drink like contaminated water?
Uh-huh.
They can clearly see water is brown.
Amazing. Yeah. Yeah.
They can clearly see it's dirty. Why are they drinking this? Yeah, this is toxic. Why are they drinking this water? And people don't understand the psychology of your body screaming for what is a necessity, is a need. The same way like attention is a need, love is a need. All these things are needs that we as human beings we require, right? Water is one of those things that your body cannot live without. So if you're in a place where water is scarce, yeah, and you take a scoop of this contaminated water, you drink it, your brain is not going to be like, oh my gosh, this is contaminating me. Your brain is going to be like, I was so thirsty. Like this was an answer to this specific prayers in my brain. Thirst. Yeah. So all that's going to happen is that whenever the brain starts craving water again, it's not going to think about the contamination or what it's doing to the body. You might start to get sick. You might start to vomit. You might start to get parasites and stuff. Yeah, cholera, stuff like that. But your brain goes, need water, and you drink it. Same thing in terms of relationships. The person,
100%.
the person that's drinking the dirty water, to them, that water is the one. Because in their mind, what is clean water? They don't really know what clean water is. All their brain knows is dirty water.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
The water is there. I'm thirsty. This is the only water available. Isn't it interesting? Because sometimes people leave relationships and you hear them say, I just need a girl.
you know
I
what?
just need a girl.
Oh,
So then
yeah.
what that means is there's plenty of girls.
Or they need a guy. Yeah. Yeah.
Or they need a guy. Why
Yeah.
do you always down to
No,
me?
go include every. I don't make anybody feel left out. But yeah,
Yeah, thank you.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah. So it's like I need a girl or I need a guy from the girl's point of view.
From the girl's point of view, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And so that means you don't put a lot of thoughts into thinking who is next in line. You've just left a bad one and it's messed you up. And here you are thinking, I need someone. There was this situation where this guy just got divorced. This girl came in the picture. Girl kept talking to the guy. The guy thought he liked her. He was lucky enough after a few years to realize that maybe I don't want her. But in that process, he fell for her. He played his part, making her think he likes her. And in the end, it felt like he threw her away. She was hurt. He was hurt in a sense of he's still recovering from his divorce. You know what I'm saying? So at that moment when things were hard, who was listening to her? There was a woman there. And when you are in those positions, if you're not careful, you might end up with the wrong person purely based on the stage that you were in your life. And I think sometimes thinking of who the one is for you personally is not something you could think about in a day. As you grow, as you begin to change it, you begin to change. So for mine, it changed to they need to have gone through a lot. It might sound weird. I need to be with someone who knows what it means for life to be hard. It's not just about the caring and the love anymore. That goes without saying. I'm also looking for someone who gets because the more you grow, the more you realize life is not straightforward.
mm,
It's not. So you don't want to be with someone when things get a bit difficult, it's going to start running away.
yeah,
You need to be sure of that too.
yeah. I'm gonna play devil's advocate with your last point, but before I get there, I'm gonna go back to what your example about the person that was divorced, you know, and such. You can imagine how it got to that point where he got embroiled with somebody that he had no plans to go forward with. In that, imagine in his marriage, maybe there was no attention, no communication, reasons for the marriage breaking up. So now he's craving that stuff. His ego needs that. So imagine how this girl comes along and she's showing him all that attention. He's gonna be soaking it up, soaking it up. You know what I mean? Like he's gonna keep this person around because this person is giving me what I've sorely lacked. And plus, it helps me as I'm going through this divorce to make me boost my ego. Yeah, because divorce is not nice. Which then leads that person to think this person is accepting my attention and they're responding to it. Yes, I also need attention and somebody to respond to me. I am now validated as much as this person is now validated. Yeah. But that person already has plans, and maybe this person is being a bit too much energy wise, and that person decides this is not what I'm gonna go for. I never really had any plans, but it was there to boost me. So I decided to go this direction. Yeah. And that's how that stuff happens where people get hurt.
Mm.
The devil's advocate part now, you said you want to find somebody that doesn't run when things get hard. But in life, right? I understand what you're saying,
Talk to
right?
me.
But
Talk
in life, sometimes there's a type of hard that's toxic hard. Yeah. And you know this is the kind of hard that's going to do you more harm than good.
But
Right?
that's what I mean.
Hmm?
The hard I meant wasn't
I know,
about.
I know. As
I'm
in,
talking about basic things like not having enough money
oh no,
at
no,
this stage.
I get you. I get you. You know, I'm just expanding on that because there's some people who are in terrible relationships because they feel like there might be a woman in an abusive relationship and she's being emotionally and physically abused, and she's saying like, oh, that's what relationships are about. You know, you don't run when things get hard. No, you do run in certain situations. In those kind of situations, run for the hills.
That's true.
And if you see any sign of that, run for the hills. You know,
Yeah.
don't even because you know, like people like us, we know how many years we have wasted saying, "Oh, um, we know how many years we have wasted by having the thought process of don't run when things get hard,"
100%.
because we know the type of hard we're talking about. You know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
is that
Yeah.
toxic? Like and then
It's different.
hmm?
Yeah. Because there's times where you're thinking, oh, I'm going to stick it out, isn't it? Let me
Yeah,
stick it out. And
yeah,
what happens? What happens? It's just, it just gets to the stage where it's like, I've wasted so many years.
and it's to the benefit of the person that wants you to keep thinking to stick it out,
Mm.
and they can continue their toxic cycle.
Yeah.
So if you ever see any signs of that, put on your running shoes, put your cap on backwards, and run like Usain Bolt. Arms like this. Yes. Don't even look back. Just run.
Just run, man. Just run.
But to your point,
Yeah.
to your specific point, yes, you want to be in a relationship where like if there are any issues or like you said monetary issues or any arguments, you can sit down and talk about it and and come to like you know um work on things and fix things and
Mm,
so to that I fully agree.
mm, mm, mm. Yeah.
Yeah,
When it comes to choosing a partner, um, I don't think the box six is that needs to be ticked is the same for everyone, is it really?
yeah, everyone's different.
It's not like, you know, it's exactly the same.
uh,
But which leads me to the question to you,
yeah,
because I gave an example of one of the things that I saw, and I'm like, okay,
yeah,
caring. Because when I saw my wife to be, I wasn't married to her yet. Yet,
yeah,
I thought, if this is how she deeply cares, and another thing that did it for me is I could tell she understands the mind.
yeah,
Yeah. In fact, when I was dating her, I had this phobia because I was raised, you know, let's not talk about where I was raised, that doesn't matter. But I had this phobia
yeah,
getting some sort of disease when I go to the barber or HIV/AIDS. Yeah, I had this phobia. And I thought, you know what? It's a silly little phobia to have. But in my head, when I go to the barber and I come, I'm thinking, do I need to go to the hospital and check if I've got HIV or something,
yeah,
right? What I told her, her reaction was like, it's not a biggie. In my
yeah,
head, it was, And sometimes it's hard to explain the silly things that bothers you. And her reaction to what I said made me think, oh, she kind of understands how complex the brain is.
Yeah,
So that's another thing that I have to add to the list. It might be an old thing, but the person that I'm supposed to be with needs to understand how the human brain works,
exactly.
understand human nature.
Yeah,
Because if you don't understand human nature, because there's times where we've had disagreements and I'm clearly in the wrong, but then she's able to work out that, oh, it's because something has upsetted him, like, something, she's able to figure that out. And sometimes I'm the one in the end having to say sorry with the way I reacted. But she was able to say, boom, 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 boom. That's why.
yeah.
So we're not going to just talk about communicate. Communication is key. We know that the person needs to be loving, caring. We know that. But then there's some unique things that gets thrown in there for each person.
Yeah.
If the person I want to be with does not understand human nature, that's a no for me. Communication might be good, but if that is missing, then you are missing something. You might, when it comes to relating, then I don't want nothing to do with it because you can't really relate.
Ultimately, like you said, they won't know how to treat you or relate to you or
Yeah,
themselves or people around them. So
yeah,
how can you build something? Because relationships are human connection,
yeah,
and if you cannot connect humans, how can you connect to a human in a relationship?
exactly.
You
A
know?
relationship, usually people enter a relationship not to do it for 6 months.
Yeah,
Sometimes you want to just have a go at it. So
yeah.
for quite some time, you wouldn't want that. I was going to say, because I don't want us to say what everyone says, communicate, which is true, which we'll probably get into as the more we talk. But what unique thing to you, something a little bit different, what I look for that you will look for in someone that you want to be with.
Thought you would never ask.
You
I have,
were waiting since the beginning, isn't it?
yeah. You want something different? I got something different for you.
Yeah, yeah.
If you're looking for the one, look. What you have to do is look for yourself first. Forget looking for other people. If you don't know yourself, you can't find yourself. Don't even bother looking for the qualities in another person.
Okay.
Don't even bother. The very first thing you need to do in life, right,
Mm.
is find out who you are, what makes you tick, what drives you, where your holes are, where they need to be patched. Yeah. And then from there, you can make decisions on what, because let me give an example, right? Let me say, like, let's say I am answering your question as someone who doesn't know himself or his problems or the void. And I go to you, the one thing I really want is I just want somebody that that listens to me. I need some, I just want somebody that listens to me and gives me some attention. Yeah. Now you're saying that not necessarily because that's what you want. You're saying that because those are the holes in your wall, yeah, that need fixing. And the plugs for them are attention and someone to talk to, right? Now I might say that, right? And I might go looking for the one based on, I want somebody I can talk to and somebody that, shows me attention. This world is energy. We are all energy. Yeah. People pick up on energies, we pick up on energies. People manipulate energy to use people and stuff. So if you go into the world not knowing who you are, naive, not knowing your problems, depending on things, because when you say I need this and that for the one, what you're basically saying is I depend on someone talking to me and attention to survive. So when you go into the world like that, right? And there are all sorts of people who are mimicking your needs to take advantage of you, you will find yourself in a constant loop of disappointment, hurt, depression, looking for the same thing over and over again, but more and more. Because what happens is you meet somebody and this person's just talking to you and you're talking to them and they listen, you go, oh, you're so interesting. I never thought of that point. And you go, oh my gosh, exactly what I've been waiting for. Somebody's listening to me and we can talk. You're not knowing that person's actually acting. Yeah, they're pretending. They're mirroring you, mirroring what you are back to you, right? And then, of course, with these type of people, when they have you hooked, they change. All of a sudden, you want to talk to them about something. I'm not interested. Like, what? What's going on here? Talk about that later. I'm not interested. Where was the person 2, 3 months ago that was so invested in talking? And then you're in a bond, and then things go wrong, and then you get hurt. Just like your example before, with the married, the guy going through the divorce. Same kind of cycle, yeah. And then the person is crushed and hurt, and then the holes, the voids get bigger, and then they really want it more, and then they create the same cycle, the same loop, and it either leads to destruction or an epiphany, right? So for me, the most important thing is find yourself. You are the one. You are the one first. And then when you are the one and you see yourself as the one and you see yourself as strong, that you don't need these things to be alive or to function. You're very good on your own. They're bonuses. They're good to have. Yeah. But you are good on your own. You don't need them. No one can manipulate these things within you. Then from that point, you can go, once you understand yourself, you can clearly say in your mind, hey, this is what I want. Because 3 years ago, you might have wanted somebody to always talk to, but now it might be different now that you're more secure. Now it might be different. You might like, yeah, it'll be good. Of course, that'd be good to have someone to talk to. But I guess what's more important to me would be like what you just said, understanding human beings. But you never thought that before, because what was running you were the things that your deficits. Those were making the decisions. But now you're thinking differently. Somebody who is into human beings. But then your approach will be different. You won't just go like, let me talk to someone, get enmeshed, and then observe. You will be observing first for months, years. You don't need to rush into anything. So if you meet somebody, you see that, oh, this person is very nice with people, and you just observe for months. You just be friends, talk, be cool, keep a distance. And you just observe from a distance. Little things, you go like, oh, okay. And you let it develop, and it goes from there. But for me personally,
Yeah.
the one for me will be someone who is genuinely caring and just like you
Keyword.
understand people,
Caring, isn't it?
genuinely caring.
Yeah.
Communication, here's the thing, communication, all that stuff, that all comes when you're genuinely caring and you're
100%.
into people.
It goes without saying, isn't it?
It
It's
goes
like,
without saying.
yeah, yeah. It's I like the point that you made about being whole first, isn't it?
Yes, yes,
Because if you're not whole first, because yet again, because to make the whole conversation real, me being in a relationship with someone, and I realized that they were lacking, but they were using me to fill in where they were lacking.
Mhm.
And guess what? I was drained because I felt like, why do I feel like I can't be free for a minute? Why do I feel like I can't breathe in this relationship?
Yeah,
That's because the person feels like so low within themselves. They need so much attention that instead of the relationship being a healthy one where you could say, oh, this weekend I just want to chill a bit, it translates to them, don't you want to be with me? Like, eh, everything is translated the other way.
yeah,
Mhm. So it could be as simple as, you know what, I know we usually meet on Mondays or Saturdays. This Monday, I don't think I can. Now, if you said that to someone who is whole, we all cannot be completely whole, but someone who is confident in who they are, it wouldn't mean anything. Like, oh, and this way goes back to genuinely caring. Be like, oh, you need some rest. oh, he probably needs, and sometimes you don't always have to over explain. Someone who genuinely cares will know that, you know what, he just wants some chill time. Let him chill. It's not that deep.
Yeah,
It's not that deep. But someone who is with you because that is missing, so much of their self worth is missing, you're going to translate it as, oh, you don't want to be with me. And then it creates unnecessary problems.
exactly. And even with those kind of people, what makes it worse for them is because they do not understand what you just said, and they see it from the perspective of if you want time off, you're triggering their abandonment issues. So they see it from a perspective of maybe he doesn't like me, maybe he wants to get away from me, right? And they don't realize that that amount of pressure puts a strain on the relationship,
Mhm.
and things don't work out. And then it reinforces in their mind it, same thing has happened again. Like I have a situation. I'm just going to try and be as vague as possible. Where I was in your position, where literally my life kind of like fell apart, as in the things that I would do to benefit me just went to the side because it felt like I was a caretaker for somebody. Every waking moment, every time that person needed me, right? And there was a time, this stuck in my head to today, and there was a time I was like, okay, you know what? This person says that we don't spend enough time, even though I was spending a lot of my time outside of work. I had put aside the gym, things I like to do. Yeah. But this person said, we're not spending enough time together. So I was like, okay, I had a plan. He said I will organize, um, said I'll organize to go for a meal, like a breakfast at a breakfast place in the morning. Um, we did a little getaway for a couple of days. Yeah. Made sure to see the person, like saw the person Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I had said in the beginning of the week, um, Sunday, I'm going to need time for myself because I need to catch up on a lot of things and I just need time because I'm tired.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you need, yeah.
Yeah. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I saw this person.
Goodness me.
Took them places, everything, right?
Yeah.
The Saturday, this person was by me. And this person looked at me and said, I want to talk to you about something. I'm like, and this person said, I don't think we're spending enough quality time together. And I was like, um, pardon? And they knew it was going to upset me because they said, this is probably going to upset you, but we don't spend. And I'm like, scratching my head. I'm like, okay. I literally spent the whole week and took, like, we went on trips. And, right. And the Sunday that I asked for time was the day that person decided to tell me that we don't spend enough quality time together.
You know what that's telling me, Adrian?
Yeah,
It's gonna sound quite harsh, but I have to say it. She needs you more than you need her.
yeah,
Lacking so much in something that now that's unhealthy, bro.
yeah. And like you said, what happens is it cannot be maintained, it cannot be sustained. You get
No.
drained, you get tired, you're trying, but you're giving more than you can give.
Yeah.
And then unfortunately, when you as a human being say to yourself, I cannot do it anymore, it reinforces in their mind, oh, this always happens. And let's not get it twisted. Yeah. We have been in that kind of, maybe not to that level, but in our early lives, we've been in that very situation too, where we needed something so much, because we didn't see what inside us needed patching,
100%.
but you got to be aware of it and do the work.
Do you think that's why sometimes people could be with someone maybe very young, and then by the time they get to a certain age, they don't want to be with the person no more? Not because the person has really done anything, but they've now sort of healed a bit and they think, I don't want to be with this person no more. Because there's some weird breakups out there as well. Some breakups where it's like, this is not doing it for me. And it's like, why? It's like, nah, it's not really me. That's because probably whoever needed to be patched up was being patched up whilst they were with someone, and then the person became irrelevant. As harsh as it may sound.
Yeah, is true. And even not even sometimes it doesn't even have to be a relationship. It could be an entanglement, as Jada Pinkett Smith mentioned. Well, no, not really an entanglement. It could be where you're in a cycle, a toxic cycle with someone for many years. Yeah, but the years are going on. You are getting stronger. You are understanding yourself. You are patching yourself up, and then it reaches a point where you go, like you look at what was in front of you, this thing that had you in knots and entanglements, yeah, that you couldn't escape. And now you're like, this is easy. And you're like, nope, don't want it. And the other person, like, what's going on? What no, and because they don't realize that as time's gone on, their toxicity has molded you to be the person you needed to be. Yeah. And then you change. And then you're like, nope, this is not one, but you become Neo, the one in the Matrix. You get shot, you get up, and you go, you see everything in green. You go, oh, okay. Yeah. And then you realize, oh, I can actually block these agents. I can fight. This is nothing to me. Not in a bad way, but you know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. And then you go forward from there, being the person that you are. And then from there, you know the one that you need to go for. So it gets to the point that when you reach that point you just mentioned, if someone else comes to you displaying signs, yeah, that they are the one, because you can see the world in green, you can see, no, you're not. You're pretending. And even if I could be wrong, I'm not going to fall for this. I'm going to tell you, slow down. Why are you rushing? Whereas the old you would have been like straight away, oh yes, rush. You know what I mean? 2 days, we're in together, we're holding hands, but the new you would be like, I don't want to rush. You chill. We give this time. Why are you coming on so strong? You need to relax. And then you will see that that person will either go, nah, this is not for me. I'm going to go and find another victim because they're looking for victims. Or they will go, oh, sorry. Huh?
Consciously sometimes.
Yeah. But not everybody's like that. Some people just, like you said, they are insecure and they just want connection quickly. So they will either run to look for another victim, or depending on who they are, if they're a caring person who's gone through a lot, they will try to slow down, and they themselves will, during the journey, change and be stronger and patch up their problems. And then you will just develop from there. So
So we're doing after we just discussed part one. There is more to discuss. Of course, we're going to touch a bit more about what finding the one is to you still, because we still got more to develop on that side. And also to further add, when things go wrong,
yeah,
because Adrian did say earlier that when things go wrong, you have the rights to run, but sometimes people don't run.
yeah.
They stay because they think that's what relationships is meant to be. So
And
watch out for part two. Yeah, Adrian.
and also a thing that popped in my head: is it possible to find the one and it not develop into anything because of circumstances?
Wow. Yeah.
So we can talk about that, and maybe examples of where we've met ones that either were not ones, that were ones but didn't work out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
True. True.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So yeah. So meet us next time for part two. Subscribe, click on the notification, choose one of these videos to watch next. Wherever my fingers are, I don't know where it's gonna pop up.
Yeah. And videos like.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll be back for a second one in a short time. So peace.